A very good morning to all, and welcome back to our course on entrepreneurial skills for biotechnologists, young biotechnologists. So today we have a special speaker and Dr. Sandeepa Kanitkar. So she took extra effort, and she's speaking from France, and she took extra effort by waking up very early, and she's talking to us at 6 a.m. her time. Uh, I will read her CV as without any life. I will just read. But so I would request Dr. P.K. Dakefalkar to give an introduction to the today's speaker. So here, sir knows Madam for more than 2 decades, so he would be the best person to introduce Madam for today's lecture. Sir, please.
Yes, thank you, Karthik. But I am not going to spend too much time because I'm sure we all are eager to hear to her. But Sandeepa Kanitkar, madam, has been a very dear friend for a very long time. We were together. I think she was junior to me by a couple of years. And I always like to boast on that she has been my junior. But a wonderful personality, a very honest and humble human being who has achieved so much in a very important area where very few people would even dare venture into. She has been taking a lot of effort to improve the quality of life of farmers. So for that, let it be improving the productivity of the crop, let it be using some organic biofertilizers, let it be coming up with some of the formulations, microbial formulations that will battle against the crop diseases. Even the burning problem like rice straw, we all have been hearing about it, like the burning of rice straw or stubble. It has created a lot of pollution problems, and our capital city is always under attack every year during the period of November, December. But without saying much, she has taken so much of efforts, and her technology that she has developed in-house about rice incorporation has been implemented on hundreds of thousands of hectares of land in Punjab and Haryana. So she is a worker who just does her part. She doesn't advertise or boast about it, but very effective technology she has been coming up with. And this all she started right from the scratch, right from where the people would work with test tubes and cultures in hand, and she has taken in the field. She has a terrific understanding of microbiology on one part and finances on the other hand. Ambitious lady, which she would not reveal much, but very nice. And I must mention that she is one of the most intelligent people around, who is better suited for medical field, I would say. But it is our privilege and our fortune that we have her in this field, where very few intelligent people would be contributing. So I would not waste much of her time. She is excellent orator, so I would really hand it over to her to like enlighten us about her her contributions and her achievements. So I would just hand it over to Sandeepa ma'am. Over to you, please, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant, and thank you, Dr. Balla. Basically, I think I should be able to live up to his expectations because he has said great things about me. I'm not sure I'm the same person anymore. Okay. So thank you so much. Good morning to you all. And it's great talking to you from the place where I am right now. Uh, I was here at Biocontrol exhibition in Basel, Switzerland, and then possibly visiting two more companies who are also engaged in my type of work, and try and see whether there can be some mutual association. So I hope you can hear me all well because I'm not sure, Karthik.
Yeah, we can hear you very well. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm to just tell you about start of the introduction. I have been working with these miraculous microbes. Basically, I'm an industrial microbiologist, postgraduate in that. And after that, the entrepreneur bug hit me. So I always tell people I'm not a doctor. I'm just a postgraduate, and I did not do my PhD, even though I had got admission for that. And I did not even do my MTech, even though the gate score was there. Because once the entrepreneur bug hits you, you really want to do everything to really support it, because it requires a insane amount of effort to really create something in this world, no matter how big or small it is. uh, there have been a couple of learnings on the way, and I can say that this journey has been eventful. Not a single day of boring day. I can definitely say about that. So without much, time onto me as such, let me talk about my work. So basically, my company Canvas it deals in three aspects of crop production. One is the soil health management, which Dr. Prashant was talking about. The second aspect is about the crop nutrition, wherein we deal in different kinds of nutrient mobilizing products based on nitrogen fixing, P solubilizing, K mobilizing microbes. Recently, the government of India has launched a biostimulant kind of registration. So we are also trying to produce in that sector. And the last but not least is the biocontrol sector. In this biocontrol sector, we have different biopesticides which are used for targeting the different difficult to control pests of crops. So we have done work in all these three areas. All our products are registered at the different institutes which are required registration of these products, because agriculture is the oldest activity, and it, I must say, is bound by different registrations and regulations, and not only in India but all across the world. So it's just like semi pharma, you can say. In fact, sometimes more difficult than it, because here the bioefficacy takes a lot of time, and people
Sorry,
have to spend.
sorry for interrupt, ma'am. Your slides.
Yeah, I just was going to
Okay.
start with that. So can you see my slides?
Yes, we can
Can you
see
see?
on
Okay.
full screen. Thanks.
Yeah. So basically, the topic of my presentation right now, it's microbes, a tool to fight climate change in agriculture. So all of us are knowing about the climate change, how we really it is affecting not only agriculture but also all the walks of life. So how microbes can play a role in the whole aspect. My company, as I was in fact telling you about, Canbiosis, we are only a microbial company. So we deal everything and anything to do with microbes which are required in agriculture, because they make a pretty big component of the our soils and also on the different spheres which agriculture is concerned about. Our logo also represents DNA, which encompasses all the spheres of, you can say, Earth, the lithosphere, agrosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. So this is the basic thing behind Canvases, that we are going to deal with having solutions of microbes which are used to solve many of the problems in agriculture. So I would, in fact, you must be wondering as how I'm talking about climate change, and then how am I talking about the company. So basically, we are a company who, in fact, which is involved in production of these microbes. And these microbes, they are a significant tool to fight the climate change. As you know, if each and every company is dealing in the sustainability aspect, which is going to be so important with the time after this now. This is because there are going to be many challenges and which we have to surmount, which we have to, in fact, meet. And even if we meet those challenges, also there might not be enough to have the uh, typical problem which we have on our hand. So each and every aspect about the companies is trying to find out, and we always seldom hear about net zero emissions and how exactly the earth is heating up and what exactly we have to do to solve this. So I would bring your attention to this documentary, which is by Sir David Attenborough. So you really, in fact, it's very short time to run this right now, but each of you has to listen to this documentary of the science of our planet, which really talks about how really we are, in fact, we should be doing a lot to stop the carbon dioxide emissions and carbon emissions, and how really we should go in for changing much of our habits and much of our outlook towards what exactly we can do or our companies can do to meet the climate change. And definitely the companies from now are going to be different with respect to utilization of energies which are required for running each company. So the highlights of my talk are the carbon, why is it important? Then climate change, why does it at all matter? Can something be done about it? Why the awareness about climate change, and how is our food? We are getting our daily 3 meals a day. So how is it going to affect our food production? How safe is our food? Because once you talk about food, the safety aspect is also important and not just the security aspect. And why do we talk about carbon credits? Because we seldom hear about blockchain and these different types of financial instruments which are having. So, how can we talk about the carbon credits? And how can technology really help us to create food security also and a food safe India also? So I'll be in fact touching some points related to this 7 points which I have brought about during the way. So the burning question right now is India is a tropical country, and the carbon content of our soils, which is so important for agriculture and the soil not getting eroded and not leading to the desertification, is that it should contain carbon. And the burning question is that if you see most of the farming in India is rice farming or cotton farming or soybean farming, and mainly the rice farming is in fact is being threatened by the burning question that the rice stubble is being burned. Because as you saw, you know, in our grain bowl, which is the Punjab, Haryana, uh, the farmers are, in fact, they were initially growing rice after, I mean, wheat after rice and again rice, summer rice. But because of the depleting soil fertility and the water table, which has gone down so deep, the summer rice is now stopped. It is in fact banned in areas of 5 rivers where there is no dearth of water. But now, in fact, only rice is grown in the monsoon season, and that too, the sowing is allowed only after June. It is not even allowed earlier. And then the rice, because if the sowing is delayed, the rice has to be harvested in the month of October, November. And because of that, the wheat has to be sown. And within 15 days, the farmers can't do anything. It is not their in fact, they don't want to burn, but then because they don't have any other option, they have to burn the rice straw. And this is causing huge loss not only in the air quality, the water quality, but also the soil quality, which is getting totally degraded year after year. And this is leading to the increasing cost of cultivation. And because the carbon is not there, the fertilizer use efficiency is going down, the yields are stagnated, and plus the consumption of pesticides is going up. So it's a byproduct of rice burning which is causing this so immense problem, which our capital, in fact, every year there is a problem. So there is not a problem only in the capital, but all the areas adjoining Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, in fact, north of Madhya Pradesh. So this is a problem. And you know, this is also the Basmati belt, and this Basmati belt yields us huge foreign exchange. So that, in fact, is on the forefront now. That what exactly can we do to stop this immense pollution which is happening by on over 1 crore acres of the rice cultivation in Punjab, Haryana, and more in Uttar Pradesh also, the Uttarakhand also, and in Madhya Pradesh also. So, in fact, if you see that what happens exactly, that more than 1 million tons of carbon dioxide are laid out, or carbon equivalents are laid out after the straw is burned. So, this huge impact on the economy is great, not only with respect to the air quality, but also the nutrients which are lost from the rice straw, and the ill effects of the burning, which are known to many. Uh, if you see exactly what really happens by the paddy stubble burning, the incidents are many, and because these days the satellite, we can easily identify how many incidents of burning are there. So even though the government has kept a ban on not burning the rice straw, still the farmers, in fact, are, you can say, politically very strong, and they can dictate as to uh, how exactly they are going to be doing the farming. So there are the couple of issues with respect to how the winds are there, and how why exactly the rice straw which is burnt, the smog is contained in the areas around Delhi and North India. So the main aspect, however, is the burning which happens. And even though the wind directions may be useful, still, or conducive, still, in fact, the burning is causing a lot of problems in the on the soil. So people are doing many things. They are trying to create some instruments with respect to super seeders and happy seeders. They're distributing it among the farmer to incorporate the rice straw. Then they are also trying to have the balers, or balers which really are they're mounted behind the tractors to use it. But then farmers, they are trying to ask the government as to why they should burn the rice straw if they are not getting incentivized. So that is where the aspect of carbon credits come into picture, and this is where, in fact, we are trying to do something with respect to creating this technology. So I'll just push on some of the slides and come to this slide of Canbiasis, wherein we implemented a project called as the Soil Carbon Project. In this Soil Carbon Project, we devised a very simple technology in fact, eradicating the burning. This, in fact, was properly done after understanding what the issues of the farmers are. That he doesn't want to. Basically, the problem of the rice straw is because of this reason that the farmers are going for mechanization. And once you have mechanization, then what really happens is you do it by the combine harvesters, the huge machines which are used to harvest the rice straw. So once the rice straw is harvested, it is laid standing in the field, and uh, unlike the ones wherein it used to be harvested by hand, wherein they used to uproot it from the ground or the roots. Only roots must be, they were left lying. But in this combined harvester, the stalks are left standing, and the farmer, in order to remove the stalks from the soil, it takes a insane amount of effort to really again uproot it, and then what to do with after uprooting, because it is not easily decomposed. It has high amounts of lignin, silica. So that is the main issue, wherein we all know that lignin is a very compact and complex polymer, which takes a lot of time to degrade and decompose. So they burn the rice straw because that just requires a matchstick, and then the field is easily, in fact, there or ready for the tilling operations which are required before wheat. So this is the technology which we created of rice trouble burning, wherein we have this product speed compost, which essentially contains a consortium of microbes which are secreting high amounts of enzymes, cellulases, and lignases. And then these microbes are in fact only useful if you create the amenable conditions for rice straw incorporation, because the no matter how much amount of carbon we feed to the soil, it is going to be not enough, because India is a tropical country. There is a lot of carbon oxidation which is happening. So we have to be giving to the earth whatever amount we are not needing, and we should give it back. So the rice straw is almost 2.5 tons per acre, and this immense amount of carbon we are just wasting. And if it is incorporated, then it definitely the soil fertility would be enhanced. So what we really try to do is we studied the aspect wherein I'll just postpone some of the things wherein the carbon nitrogen ratio of the rice straw is very high. So what we did essentially was flood the first of all use the rotavator, which is an instrument which is required to cut the rice stalks which are lying, and then put it on the ground. And once they are put on the ground, they are shredded. Then the field is flooded with water. And once it is flooded with water outside of the field, we mix our product with one bag of urea. And urea is highly subsidized, so farmers don't mind using it. So we mix our product with this urea and then ask the farmers to put it on the field. And what really happens is, because of the 6 inches layer of highly aerobic layer is created, and the water is there, and the carbon is there, and the nitrogen is there. So rice straw is definitely loosened out. And once it is loosened out, it is not totally decomposed. But once it is loosened out, it is then put on the soil by routine operations, and the wheat germination is not affected. So such a simple method is in fact useful for the farmers to improve the prominent issues which are laid out in this slide, wherein rice requires insane amount of water, almost 1,000 liters per kg of rice. So if there is going to be a lot of carbon in the soil, then the water table also goes up, because carbon definitely retains the amount of water. And once the carbon retains the water, the fertilizer use efficiency also increases, because if the soils are compact, and any amount of water you add, the thing really is washed away. And you know that the nitrate levels in the Punjab wells are very high. And this, in fact, is causing many of the health hazards in the newborns also. So the fertilizer efficiency is definitely, initially it is less than 30%, so it further goes down. And the aspect about pesticide efficiency, because there is no microbial diversity left in the soil, because there is no absence of organic matter, the pesticides or the pest problems also are very high. And that is why, in fact, a lot of pesticides, herbicides are used in rice. In fact, 55% of all the pesticides which are used are in rice and cotton. So that aspect also is very troubling for the farmers. And the pollution aspect of the soil, groundwater, and air due to unsustainable practices, that is also there. So we are, in fact, targeting many of these issues, which really are important. So the takeaways from this are that if there is a problem, there can be a solution. And the solution lies in the problem only. So what we try to do is understand the whole aspect, see the market potential of the whole problem, and then devise a strategy on a product behind it, which can fit in the mindset of the farmers, and there is a market for it. Because unless and until there's a market for it, the R&D efforts are not going to be structured to solve that problem. So this, in fact, is the aspect on which our people they worked. I'm very happy to say that the Technology Development Board, New Delhi, they took cognizance of the whole thing and helped us to implement it on more than 30,000 acres of the rice fields in Punjab, Haryana. And not only that, they helped us to validate the technology at Punjab Agriculture University and Haryana Agriculture University. We are also trying to take it to IRI and other areas, rice growing areas, because rice is a crop, international crop. It's not just confined to India. And these problems are there all around. So this is how we, in fact, we are trying to work with the farmers. I just told you about one of the technologies we have developed. The same aspect, in fact, we are trying to utilize it for dressing the seeds of crops with microbes. Then we are also trying to position the microbes for managing the stresses which are there in agriculture with respect to climatic stresses. Main being the water efficiency and or the drought tolerance, and the aspect about increasing the fertilizers efficiency. And the last but not the least is the pesticides, which are troubling us for the food security. If you go for any kind of horticulture crops, like for example grapes, the farmer has to, in fact, is using pesticides after every alternate day. So imagine that a crop of 120 days, he almost sprays the crop for more than 80 times or 70 times. So this is insane amount of effort which is required, and which is not in fact required. But then he's, because the value of the investment is very high, he doesn't want to take any chances. So we are trying to fit our products in the pre-harvest interval, wherein if he has to export the crops, he doesn't have to. He should not spray it at the just before harvesting, which is called as a pre-harvest interval. There we are trying to fit our biopesticides, which can be used to solve many of the problems in horticulture. So these are some of the satellite images of a district in Amritsar, wherein if you see, the green is rice and the black is non-rice, and the burning, in fact, area which is there, most of more than 85%, 90% of the area is burned. There are some select farmers who are now understanding the technology and trying to, in fact, implement it on their fields. So this is the kind of burnt areas which you can see over here. Uh, So alternate strategies with respect to rice straw also were there, but then none can meet up the challenge of the immense challenge which is there. So our technology is the only technology we are saying that it can be implemented on all the areas, all of the area. And that is why we are in fact trying to devise a strategy whereby to convince the farmer as to how to really take it up. And even though he's asking for incentivization, how to really channelize or how to create strategies for selling and marketing of our products into that areas. So this is the basic aspect about one of the technologies which was developed in-house, for which we got a prize of 15 lakh rupees on the technology day, even during the second lockdown on the 11th May. We got a cash prize of 15 lakh rupees, and now we are trying to, in fact, have a bigger project which will be used, and wish to tie it up with the carbon credits. So there are many, in fact, satellite-based digital companies, agri-tech companies, which are coming up with buying the carbon credits from the market with respect to the companies who want to go for net zero emissions, and they want to incentivize the farmers. And maybe we, as a technology partner, we may come in to fill up the gap, and then have this unique strategy enacted, because this is being done in the United States at some level, wherein the regenerative agriculture practices are helping the farmers to increase the efficiency of farming, because farming efficiencies are going down every year. These are some of the microbes which are used in the product, wherein we have stabilized the formulation with respect to having the counts in a sustained manner. So our factories, wherein you can see some of the instruments which are required and carry out the fermentation. These are some of the field trial experiments which we carry out with the farmers on the fields. There's some of the beneficial effects on the soil pH and the soil organic carbon and available nitrogen. So we also have to do a lot of training for the farmers. So we have been able to sell around 300 tons of the product on over 30,000 hectares. We established a distribution channel of more than 45 partners and 12 hour of staff. So essentially, my company right now is working in 7 states of India, from Punjab, Haryana to Karnataka, and from Gujarat to Chhattisgarh, some areas of Chhattisgarh. So we are working in 7 states, and we have a unique model of cluster-based model, wherein each cluster consists of 2 to 3 districts. So right now we are working in only around 75 districts, wherein each cluster is manned by some sales staff, and this sales staff is provided with an agronomist, and each sales staff has to be dealing with 30 dealers. So we have a network of around 1600 dealers all over India, which we want to take it to around 10,000 plus. And that is a 10x plan which we are working on, as we want to be the largest microbial company in India, who can take up the challenge of some of the issues which are there in agriculture, because agriculture efficiency has to go up. Unless it goes up, and it has to be favorable for the climatic aspects also, it cannot be just nutrient intensive. So this is the kind of technology which we developed, and with the technology development board also coming up. And now we really want to take it to around 1 lakh farmers, and these are some of the marketing aids which are used to popularize the technology amongst the cultivators, and a lot of training the channel also to sell the speed compost. We have this IDS, or the van, which really goes every week to the dealer to deliver the products and get the data from the farmers or from the dealers of selling. And then this is how we really meet up the government people and inform them. This year, in fact, the government is doing 2000 trials on its own, to popular at different locations, which are creating model plots all over. So this is our in fact papers coverage of the activities which we do in speed compost. The unique way in which in Japan the rice trouble is in fact created into different dragons and animals, which we really are trying to do it in Punjab, Haryana, wherein the technology should be in fact beneficial. So the nation that destroys its soil, it destroys itself, because our food is destroyed. So this is a quote which which I would leave you with, and I would happy to answer any questions if there are. Thank you so much.
So, audience, we are open to questions, and if you want to ask some experience of Madam, also please feel free to post your questions, or like we can open up if somebody want to talk to Madam. Also, we can do that. So maybe we have Madam. Is it okay if we can take for another 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, okay, that is fine because I have another 15 minutes. We can
Okay,
utilize.
sure. We'll please go ahead and post your question, or if you want to talk to, Mayuri, you can,
May I ask question?
go ahead, Mayuri.
May I ask
Thank
one
you so
question?
much, ma'am. Oh, hello.
Mayuri, you can
You're
go ahead.
audible.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. This was extremely inspirational. We are several of us are from a microbiology background, and so this was very relevant to the sort of applications that influence society and also at the same time support your livelihood. So this was fantastic. Could you please say a few words of how you started? Like at the time, I think you set up your company in '95 or something. So this was way before people were talking about carbon credits and climate change in such a big manner. So what made you switch into establishing a company and giving it the vision, or did you not have that vision? Did it come along the way? Could you talk a little bit about your journey, please?
Yeah, my journey started in 1991, in fact, not five. I had got admission for Ohio State and I was giving my, in fact, GRE and TOEFL and going abroad. But I met Professor U.K. Kanetkar, who really was a scientist and he had a small laboratory at his home. And he convinced me that instead of doing incremental innovation, you have to do innovation for the people who need it the most. So, in fact, that kind of thing inspired me. And initially, also, I was an entrepreneur at heart because after the age of 16, I never took money from my father and mother. So I used to do some small things and then try and, be an entrepreneur because business was in my blood. I was inspired by my grandfather, who was also a businessman. And then I started working with him, and we created the first technology of liquid biofertilizers, for which we got a patent in 1997. And we won the Technology Day Award at the hands of the president for creating this technology of liquid biofertilizer. So this is the basic starting point wherein we try to work ahead of time, and again we try to flow against the stream because that was not an era of sustainability and all these kinds of techniques. But basically, I was inspired by the microbes and to do something with respect to using this technology. I tried to do this. Then in 2005, I set up this company, Canbiosis, because initially it was a kind of research-based sales and marketing activity. So full-fledged activity started in 2005, wherein I took over the earlier company. And then we started working with respect to not only in Maharashtra, but also we transgressed the boundaries and went to Madhya Pradesh and Punjab and Haryana and all these places. So the idea was that because the microbes were not very popular in India, we exported our produce to Australia and USA, and now we are exporting to 5 countries. So the basic aspect is that the technology, if it is created, and if you have a vision of how to popularize it and how to take it across, nothing stops you. In fact, because you start seeing solution in every problem. And if you want to reach that solution to the market, then that is where the job of the entrepreneur lies. So I hope you have answered your question, Mayuri.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Manoj, you can go ahead and keep your questions as short as possible.
So thanks for sharing this very informative session, madam. I have one question that because when we are harvesting this rice, then we have to plant wheat. So what is the mode of action of this compost, and what is the cost of this speed compost?
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Manoj. We are right now charging the product at 600 rupees an acre, and the farmers they require around 2,000 rupees because they have to spend on putting the rice straw after cutting on the soil. So that it in fact takes around 1500 to 1600 rupees. And after that, the rice it is incorporated within 15 days. And after 15 days, the thing can start the tilling operations for the wheat, and the wheat germination is not affected. The microbes which I can see in some of the question box are the cellulose degrading microbes, basic with respect to trichoderma and penicillium and all these kinds of things. And we really are right now applied for the $2 million carbon challenge, which the farmers have set up in Punjab, Haryana. So our technology is being validated for that also right now. So that is the case.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Sir? Sir,
I think Dr.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sandeepa ma'am. It was a wonderful lecture. I have two questions for you. First question is, you had a patent with the microbial formulation way back. So what was your experience? What were the difficulties that you or challenges that you faced in obtaining that patent? That is number one. And secondly, the challenges when you are using the microbial products which you face from the regulatory authorities. Can you just throw a little bit light on that?
Yeah. So basically, for the patent, in fact, there were no challenges. In fact, we did not have a lot of money to get a international patent. So we went for Indian patent, and that was a problem. That should not have been the case. So that is one of the issues which we say. In fact, the patenting aspect I see when I travel abroad and all, that the university, our students are not conditioned to go in for patents and all. Publishing papers is considered more. In fact, in a proper light, but not patents, and creating technology out of it and having a proper department to transfer the technologies. That is not there, according to what I have found out for these many years. So getting the patent, in fact, was not a very difficult thing for us. We got it. The timeline was, in fact, for 3 or 4 years, I remember. But after that, there was no issue. And the regulatory aspects, in fact, are more challenging in India because there are many difficulties with respect to reaching the rural market, because it is not that structured, and plus the sales and marketing efforts which are required to go to the rural market, they are immense. And for a company which does not have very deep pockets, this is a very challenging thing in order to how to reach the areas. So what we try to do is create some good success stories in some areas which can be extrapolated by investment. So you have to create something which is going to be lucrative for investment. They are going to get return on capital for that aspect, because the market is huge. Assessment of market is the first step for required for an entrepreneur to think big, because what is going to be the scope of technology to reach the end user, to have the solution or to have the product. That is a important thing. For getting the regulations and the registrations, in fact, because we were much ahead of time, the government in fact came to us many times to have our opinion on the standards to be set. So that was an aspect which really was required. But one thing I can say over here is it's a very patient kind of investment in agriculture. And if one season goes wrong, you have to wait for 1 year or 2 years. So I think that it has taken insane amount of time for me to reach up till here, which in other case with respect to food and pharma, it is not the case. So agriculture requires a lot of patience, but then I should say that it was satisfying also to some extent.
Right. I have another question very briefly and quickly. You have had so many success stories. You have done so many things. Which day you felt the most happy and contented about your achievement, about your contribution?
In fact, I see that from the start, I used to be in a man's world, wherever I used to go, I used to be the only lady in agriculture. But then recently, when I went to Nashik, I saw that 80% of the women were farmers and who were doing farming on their own. And their husbands were in fact employed somewhere else, and they were looking after the grape farming. So that was in fact a very satisfying thing to see that India is also now, women are waking up, and they are also trying their hand at these kind of things. And plus, when I go abroad, I see that they are quite surprised to see our abilities with respect to our thoughts and the vision. So we are no less than whatever they are trying to do also. So I see a lot of hope for the new generation, which is right now coming up. And in fact, technology excites me. So wherever I go, I see, I don't visit any tourist places, but I see the companies and the technologies and try and talk to people. So this is in fact great for me to, you know, talk about and see whatever I'm trying to do and whether it can be taken up by these people, or we can have some of their inventions in India. So that in fact excites me. So technology and industry and companies excites me.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure you have played a major role as an inspirational model for those about that.
So thank you all. I think you can hear us.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
yes, you're audible.
yeah.
Hello.
So thank you
Sorry.
all for giving me this opportunity, and I wish you all the best and stay safe.
Karthik, and
Thank you, madam. Sorry, I in between my internet, it went off and
Yeah.
I just came back. Sorry.
Okay, so thank you all
Yeah.
and stay safe. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
madam.
ma'am, on behalf of Pune Knowledge Cluster. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
For audience, our next session starts at 12. Please join. And I see some of you have missed this session. Later, after posting in YouTube, from the capacity email, we will share the link so the same can be shared with your fellow participants. Thank you all, and I hope everybody got your filled your attendance link which Prachi posted at 10:04. I will just copy paste it
Yeah,
and post it
I've
again.
done it. I've done it again.
Okay, thanks, Prachi. Thanks, Prachi. Thanks. So we'll meet at 12 noon. See you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
I'll end the
Bye,
meeting now.
Prachi.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll end the meeting.